Hi guys, it's Ben Heath from Lead Guru, and in this video I'm going to show you how to advertise on Facebook in 2019. This is a beginner's tutorial, a Facebook ads for beginners video, if you like, and I'm going to go through every single step. So I'm going to go through how you create the campaign, how you set up your targeting options within the ad set, how you create an ad, all that stuff. Keep it very simple so that you can get started with your Facebook advertising, or go back to the basics if your Facebook ad campaigns haven't been producing the results you're looking for. So let's get into it. Let's show you how to create Facebook ads. So first thing you want to do is head into Ads Manager. Now that's where I already am. If you're not here, you don't know what Facebook's Ads Manager is, on the top right hand side when you're in your Facebook account, there'll be a little black arrow, downwards black arrow. If you click on that, there'll be a drop down. There'll be something along the lines of manage ads, manage adverts, something like that. Click on that. That will bring you into something that looks like this, which is Facebook Ads Manager, which is where you want to create your Facebook ad campaigns. It's much better to create Facebook ad campaigns here than it is to simply boost posts. You have a lot more functionality that you can use at this point. Once you're in here, let's go ahead and create a campaign. So click on this green plus create button. Now, there's a couple of different views that you could create your Facebook ad campaigns in. This is one of them, quick creation, which I often use. Facebook's default is to use guided creation, which is what you can see right here. So let's go through it in this sense. It'll probably be easier for you to understand. So when you're trying to work out how to advertise on Facebook, particularly now, one of the biggest keys to success is choosing the right campaign objective. Now, Facebook's default is to use traffic. For most people, that's not what I'd recommend. I think if you're just getting started with Facebook advertising, you want to know how to advertise on Facebook, most people want to go with a conversions campaign, which is what you can see up here, because that's what's going to get you leads and that's what's going to get you sales. And that's what most businesses are after. When they first want to start advertising on Facebook, they want proof of concept. They want to know that, oh, this is a platform that can generate leads and sales for my business. Therefore, I'm willing to invest more money into it, etc., etc. Messing around with brand awareness, reach, things like that can be fantastic, can do wonderful things for your business over the long run. But right at the beginning, you want to know that Facebook ads can work for you. So you should go ahead and select the conversions objective, as I've just done there. Now, if we scroll down, you can see this is effectively the campaign level. We've selected our objective, which is the most important thing. You want to give your campaign a name, call it something that will be relevant to you, whether that's by product, by service, whatever it happens to be. I would recommend that you include the campaign objective in there. So we would call this, whatever it happens to be that's relevant to the business or the product or service we're selling, end with conversions. Now you can see you've got the option here to create a split test. If you're getting started with Facebook advertising, if you're a Facebook ads beginner, don't bother with that. That's a fairly advanced feature you can use later. Campaign budget optimization. Now, I'm recording this video in August 2019. This is going to become mandatory for a lot of accounts from September 2019. So I'm going to turn it on because it's going to become, fairly, it's going to be the way you have to do things fairly quickly. Then you need, if you use campaign budget optimization, I'll just very quickly explain what that means. That means that your campaign budget is allocated at the campaign level as opposed to the ad set level. Now you can see on the left-hand side here, we've got campaign, within that we've got an ad set, and within that we've got an ad. Previously, all budgets were set at the ad set level, which means that let's say you had 3 different ad sets, you would have to set a budget for each ad set, and then that would be divided up between the ads within those ad sets. With campaign budget optimization turned on, you can set a budget at a campaign level, and Facebook will divide that amongst your ad sets. So let's say, for example, for many of our clients, we advertise, say, both in the UK, the US, Canada, Australia. So we might create 4 different ad sets, 1 for each country, and Facebook, with campaign budget optimization, will work out which countries are performing best, and they will allocate more of our daily budget to those campaigns, to those ad sets, than other ad sets. So it's a great feature to use in general. I'd recommend you use it, even if it wasn't about to become mandatory. Now, next thing you need to decide is your budget. So obviously you can use a daily budget or a lifetime budget. I would recommend going with a daily budget. Lifetime budgets don't tend to perform quite as well. Facebook seems to eat the final part of a lifetime budget. Don't really know why. So I'd recommend using a daily budget, keeping an eye on it. You can obviously pause it at a certain point if you only want to send a certain amount. Okay, so this is already defaulted to £100 per day. Don't worry if you're just getting started. You don't have to spend £3,000 a month, roughly $4,000 a month, when you get started with Facebook advertising. This is because I've created this within my ad account, and we usually create campaigns that are of a higher budget level. Yours will probably default to $20 a day or something like that, but I'm going to leave that as is for now. When it comes to budget, I would recommend that you start with something that's affordable, but something that will mean something to your business if it does work. If you're spending, $3 a day, even if that works really well, is that going to do anything for your business? Probably not. If that delivers a 10x return on ad spend, is that going to do anything for your business, generating an extra $30 a day? Maybe, maybe not. So if you want to know more about how to set a Facebook ads budget, check out the video description. There'll be a link in there to an article I've written that shows you exactly how to do that. I recommend you go through that if you're thinking, what do I spend when I first start advertising on Facebook? That's really going to help. Then campaign bid strategy. Bunch of different options. When you're first getting started, when you're a Facebook advertising beginner, go with lowest cost. You can learn, how to advertise on Facebook with cost cap, learn how to advertise on Facebook with bid cap, target cost, all that stuff. I've got other videos that cover those. To get started with, keep it simple, go with lowest cost. It's the option that I use 95% of the time anyway. Okay, that's the campaign level. The simplest level of the three when it comes to Facebook advertising. Okay, we've got a campaign set up. Give your ad set a name, call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it example ad set. What I'd recommend in the ad set is that you name it something that means something to you when you're checking it at a glance. So let's say, for example, in this ad set, you'll see here we're setting our audience, our placement, our budget and schedule, things like that. So let's say within our ad set, we are going to be targeting women aged, let's go with 35 to 55, that are, let's say, interested in home and garden. Something like that. So that's what my ad set might look like. Because then if I check this, and let's say we're going to do that in the UK. So then when I check this against all the other ad sets that we've got, that'll make a lot of sense. Of course, I could also put things in like, if this was a retargeting campaign, I could go with website visitors, UK. So call this whatever you want to call it, but I would usually recommend that you call it something that means something to you, that describes what's included in the ad set. Okay, now, when you use the conversion objective, you need to tell Facebook what the conversion is to you, what you want this campaign to optimize for. To do that, you will need to have the Facebook pixel installed on your website and event code set up. That sounds very complicated. It's not. I've created a video that shows you how to do that. Again, check out link in the video description. If not, you can always pay someone to do that for you. It shouldn't cost too much money. And what that basically means is if you've got event code, let's say set up on your order confirmation page. Let's say anytime someone reaches the order confirmation page on my website, they buy a course or something like that, then this purchase code pops up and that person is registered as a purchase. So I'm going to go ahead and use purchase. Of course, there are different options that I could use in here. I could use lead, add to cart, etc., etc. You will see that once your Facebook pixel is set up properly, the events that are live show up in green, the ones that are not show up in red. So these are actions that we're not tracking, but these green ones are. And that's why we're going to go ahead and use purchase for this campaign. Dynamic creative and offer are things you may want to use later down the line. We don't too often, if I'm perfectly honest, but you may want to use those later down the line. Nothing you need to worry about when you're getting started. Same with custom audiences. You can retarget website visitors, previous customers, your email list, all that stuff, but include also adding in lookalike audiences, which is a big part of the Facebook advertising we do. But when you get started, that's probably not something you want to mess with. It's not really a Facebook advertising beginners area to play around with. These can get very complicated. Do that once you've got that proof of concept, once you've got a little bit of experience and all that sort of stuff. So skip that for now. Locations. So this part is fairly straightforward. I would recommend that you add in the locations that you want your customers to come from. So if you operate nationwide or internationally, add in the country or countries. If not, you can literally put a pin in the map. So I live in Cirencester in the UK, in Gloucestershire, in England. So I could put a pin right in the map on my city, and let's say I just want to advertise to people that are within 15 miles of my location, because I'm a local business, I just operate on a local basis, then that would be my location targeting. As a business, we operate internationally, but we usually do a lot of our advertising to the UK and US. That's where most of our clients come from, so I'm just going to go with the UK for now. Then you want to enter your age and gender demographic information. So hopefully you've got a good idea about who, the people that constitute your target market. So what age are they? Are they predominantly male, predominantly female, all that sort of stuff. So I'd recommend you go in and add those. So for example, for our own business, we know that the majority of our clients are going to be 30 plus, and they are usually going to be less than 60. So 30 to 60 is a relatively wide window, but for businesses hiring us for Facebook advertising services, that's what we tend to see. We have both male and female clients, so I'd leave that open. Now, one thing you want to do whenever you're going through this process is keep your eye, I'm blocking it slightly, but keep your eye on this potential reach on the right-hand side. You don't want that to be too small. So if I was to go back to my previous example, go with Cirencester, reduce that down to 15 miles. Okay, you can see that now I've got 340,000 people. That's not too small an audience, but I don't want to make it much smaller. And that's pertinent for when we come on to the next section, which is detailed targeting. So in here is where you enter your demographic, interest, behavior, targeting options. This stuff is all fairly straightforward. Just go with the people that the majority that's going to describe most of your customers. Are they male? Are they female? What age range are they? Be fairly broad with the age range. You don't have to be, 4-8 year slot. And then, of course, your location data. But this part is a lot more subjective, this demographic interest behaviors option. What I'd recommend you do is you start with things that describe your customers. Your customers are likely to be interested in. So, for example, as a Facebook advertising agency, we might put in something like business page admins. So these are people that are admins of a business's Facebook page on Facebook. These are small business owners, they're marketing managers and marketing directors and the people we want to reach in companies. It's exactly who we're after. So we might go with a targeting option like this. Now, of course, if you were selling, fishing rods, fly fishing rods, you might go with people that are interested in fishing, or maybe a bit more specific, interested in fishing techniques, interested in recreational fishing. There's lots of different options. So what I'd recommend you do when you first get started is come in here and put in some words that describe what it is that you offer. Do you sell shoes, for example? You might have shoes. Here you go. They've got different types of shoes. You've got different brands. What's closely aligned to your type of products? Do you sell shoes that are similar to Clark's, for example? That'll do you to get started. So let's go back to the previous example. Let's say I'm a local fish shop. I'm looking to advertise some fishing related things. That audience hasn't decreased at all, which means it didn't work properly. Let's have a go again. Okay, Facebook's being stubborn. Sometimes this takes a little bit of time to load. I'm recording a video, so I'm not going to do it now, but I'd normally just refresh the page and then this potential reach will refresh. But you want to keep an eye on that. So if I'm operating on a local basis, remember what I said about audiences being too small. You can go ahead and use something like fishing, because that's a very broad option. But you don't want to go ahead and use something more specific, like fishing techniques. I've just worked out why that stayed the same. I want to get rid of that. Okay, so you can see when I add in here fishing techniques, my potential reach is fewer than 1,000 people. That's too small. I would need an audience that's larger than that to run a successful Facebook ad campaign. In general, I would like audiences to always be above 100,000 people. That's not always the case when you're operating on a local basis. I appreciate that. And if it isn't, then don't worry about it too much. But if I'm operating on a nationwide, international basis, I like my audiences to be at least 250,000 people. In general, Facebook ad campaigns perform better with larger audiences, provided that audience is still targeted. So if I was doing fishing, if I was operating on a national basis, I might want to use fishing techniques. But let's just demonstrate this in here. So let's say I'm operating on a local basis in this case, and I go ahead and select fishing, still fewer than 1,000 people. So I might need to come up with something else, another targeting option, or I could leave this blank if I'm operating on a local basis like I am, and my audience is already pretty small. That is an option. Now, if I was to get rid of my local targeting criteria and operate on a nationwide, let's go with nationwide basis for the moment, as opposed to internationally. Now, that changes things a lot. I've got 24 million people in here, and if I was to add in phishing, that's going to be a rather large audience. 3.6 million people, probably a bit too big. So you can see the difference between the local and the non-local is that phishing is too small to use when you're local. Phishing is too big to use when you're national. So that's where I might want to go with something a little bit more specific, like phishing techniques. These are going to be more hardcore fishermen. And there we go. Look, 310,000 people, perfect audience to go with on a nationwide basis. On a local basis, I need to do things differently. Now, the reason why I've spent some time on this is because a lot of Facebook advertising experts basically recommend to go really specific or only operate in a certain way. And for me, there's a massive distinction between local businesses and national or international businesses. So I've explained those two approaches. Now, I deselected this a second ago, expand detailed targeting criteria when it may increase conversions at a lower cost per conversion, because I wanted to see my audience size. In reality, I do want to tick that. So what I'd recommend is deselect it, come in here and add in what you want to use. So keeping the example of a fishing, let's say a local fly fishing shop or something like that. I could go ahead and know that it's 310,000, but I can select that and you can see the potential reaches increase to 24 million, but that's absolutely fine because I know that the core of my audience is the 310,000. Okay, scrolling down, you don't have to worry about connections. Connections is things like people already like your page. You can either target those people or exclude those people. Again, if you're a Facebook advertising beginner, you're just learning how to advertise on Facebook, don't worry about that. Placements. When you're using something like the conversions objective, you can go ahead and use automatic placements. You do not need to edit your placements at this point. If you are running a traffic campaign or something along those lines, then yes, you want to edit placements. But for now, start with conversions, keep it simple, and go with automatic placements. Budget and schedule. Optimization for ad delivery. There are options here, but leave that as conversions. Cost control, we've already decided at the campaign budget optimization level, we're not going to set a cost cap, bid cap, or anything like that. If you did want to add that in, you would then need to change how that works at the campaign level in the CBO settings. Conversion window, 7 days click or 1 day view. Again, I'm not going to get into that into too much detail. There are a bunch of different options, but just leave that as is to get started. So when you first sort of start advertising on Facebook, when you're a Facebook ads beginner, you come in here, you see all these options, and you just think, whoa, wow, how do I get around all these? How do I work all these out? But for your first campaign, when you're just getting started, or not even first campaign, but your first few campaigns, you don't have to worry about anything except for your location targeting, your demographic information, some detailed targeting, and that is it. Everything else can be left as is. So hopefully that really simplifies the process, because the hardest step with Facebook advertising is getting started in the first place. Once you get started, you can start to play, you learn more, you see what improves your results, what doesn't, and you can go about making adjustments and things like that. Okay, that is the ad set level, which is one of the most complex parts of any Facebook ad campaign. Now we get into the ad. So in terms of what's important with your Facebook ads, of course, it's all important. If you don't have parts, if your targeting is wrong, but your products are great and your ads are great, it's not going to work. But likewise, a lot of people think that great targeting is enough to make your campaigns succeed. That's not the case. You need to have a high quality ad that grabs people's attention, that describes the benefits and the services, the benefits of the products and services that you're offering, and then convinces people to take action. So there are a bunch of different types of ads you can create. You can use carousels, collections, single image, video, slideshows. For most businesses just getting started, I would go ahead and use the single image. Keep it very, very straightforward. So that's what I'm going to go and do here. Now, you come down to this media section here, and as I said, you can select video or slideshow there or image. We're going to go with image for the time being. So now it's time to select your images. So if you've got images uploaded to your Facebook page, your Facebook ad account, you can browse library, you can upload images if you've got them. So if you're a service-based business, you might want to demonstrate pictures from your portfolio. If you're a local company, you might want to display your location. Obviously, if you're a product-based business, you're going to want to display images of your products. So you're probably going to own the image assets that you're going to use in your Facebook ad campaign. So take a look through those and think about the ones that really show what you want to show. Hopefully, they're professionally done. They look clean and crisp. They really make whatever it is that you're looking to advertise stand out. But not all businesses have that, or that doesn't apply to every single type of business. In that case, I would recommend that when you're a Facebook ads beginner, you're getting started, come in here and select stock photos, and we'll select a stock photo from Facebook's partnership with Shutterstock, which means you can use these photos for free. So you would want to come up with something that, you're searching for images, just like when you were looking at the detailed targeting criteria. So let's keep with the example of fishing. And let's say we are advertising a fishing lesson. So you would want to type in fishing, something like this, and you could come in and grab something that's eye-catching, that looks really good. I mean, ideally, if you could have lesson, why don't we try that? Why don't we try fishing lesson, see what comes up? I haven't sort of prepared this in advance. I'm just doing this as I'm recording to show you how easy it is to find high-quality images to use in your Facebook ads via Shutterstock. Because I'm recording this, it's taking some time to load. So what have we got here? Some sort of fishing lesson. The top ones were obviously like a dad with a kid is probably not the sort of thing you might be looking for. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick one. Obviously, you could take some more time on this. If you come up with a few different options and you're unsure which one to use, then by all means go ahead and select a few. Run a few different ads at the same time. You'll very quickly see which image performs best. It might take as little as a day or two. Pause the underperforming ads, go with the winning ones. It's quite a straightforward process. Let's go with something like this. These two guys look like they're having a great time. And we'll add that in as our image. So you can now crop images. So let's say I select on here and crop images. This sets it to horizontal and I can block out the parts that I may or may not want to include. I don't want to do that. You can see here that Facebook's default is to automatically crop to square. That's worked fairly well. I'm happy to go with the square option because that's going to take up more space on the screen. Now, this will depend on the sort of image you've got and the business that you're, the thing that you're advertising. Sometimes you need to go rectangular, in which case crop it, that's absolutely fine. Other times you will need to run it square and it will look better that way. In general, if you can take up more space on the screen in someone's Facebook newsfeed, the better, which is why I like to go with square. In this guided creation, you're only able to sort of crop and then change different options. Once you've published your campaign, or prepared it at least, you can then go back into Ads Manager. You have a slightly different window and you have some more cropping options in here. You can also change how your ad looks in different placements. So remember we talked about we're using automatic placements. Placements refers to the places that your Facebook ads will appear within Facebook. So obviously there's a news feed, which is a classic one, but there's also Instagram. There's Instagram and Facebook stories. There's the audience network. There's Messenger. There's lots of different options. As you can see, 11 placements are using this image. So what you can do is you can come in here and you can select to customize. So you could grab, for example, the Instagram feed. And it's just going to take a second. And you can see that in Instagram, they've automatically made it this size, but I could crop it differently if I wanted to. You can see I've got horizontal, rectangular. I could perhaps move it over slightly so it's a little bit less cut off, apply the changes, and then that's what it will look like in the Instagram feed. And I can go through the placements and do all of that. So I'd recommend that you take some time, make sure your image looks great on all the placements it's going to be running on, which is going to be all of these if you've selected automatic placements. So you can see 10 are using this, Instagram's there, just go through them. I think that would be the best approach. So a lot of people get hung up on imagery, and the image in your ad is an absolutely vital part of any Facebook ad campaign. Super, super important that you have an image that's eye-catching, that looks professional, and that works well. But to tick those boxes is not impossible to do. So when you're a Facebook ads beginner and you want to get started, go ahead and select a few that you think are great. Just go with your gut instinct. There's no set formula to this. Just go, I think that'll work really well. Select those, run them, see how they perform, and adjust from there. Big fan of just getting started. Okay, so that's the ad image. Now we need to scroll down to the next section in our fly fishing lesson ad. And let's start with the primary text. The primary text is this part up here that appears above your image. So let's say we are advertising fishing lessons. That's the example we've used so far. Now, whenever you're advertising any sort of service, I'm a big fan of offering something free at the beginning. Because you might be fantastic at delivering your service, but your prospects do not know that until they use your service. So why not give them an opportunity to use your service, see how good you are, and then they'll be far more willing to come back and pay full price. So if I was working with a fishing instructor or a company that offers lessons, I would recommend that they advertised a free lesson, could be just 30 minutes or something like that, to get people started. So I would go with something like, for a primary text, let's grab people's attention. Free fishing lessons. Right up at the top of the ad. Really big, bold, capital letters, asterisks. Facebook might have a little issue with that, and they might disapprove the ad, in which case I will just remove them and try to get it approved again. Not a big deal. Free fishing lessons. So I would do something like, this month only, we're offering free 30-minute fly fishing lessons at X location, wherever it happens to be. I don't know that. Beginners and experienced anglers. Beginners and experienced anglers welcome. Click the button below to sign up for this special offer. Now, if a company can offer something like a free fishing lesson, that is basically guaranteed to do really well. If you can offer something like that up front, that is basically guaranteed to do really well. That will probably generate leads for less than $10 each. Almost certainly. With a conversion campaign, that's people going through to a website. Obviously, there are lead generation campaigns, which are slightly different. If you want to generate leads on Facebook, again, video description, there'll be a link in there to my Facebook lead ads video that shows you all how to do that. But something along those lines. Very simple, very straightforward, grabs their attention, tells them exactly what their offer is. The benefits of this are absolutely obvious. You might want to put in something else in there about beginners and experienced anglers welcome. You could say something along the lines of the quality of your fishing instructors. So all our fishing instructors are something certified. There's probably some sort of body or organization. I don't know fishing very well, but there's probably some sort of body or organization that certifies you to say that you're competent, you know what you're doing. All our fishing instructors are fully certified. Click the button below to sign up for this special offer. So we're emphasizing some of the benefits of the service, keeping it very, very simple. You may want to add a bit more copy in. You may come up with something better. You think, oh, I know that my customers really care about this. They care about the quality of the water, or they care about the, how beautiful the location is whilst they're fishing. They care about easy access from transport locations. Whatever it is that you know that your customers care about, get it in here. I've got a benefit in here of our fishing instructors are fully certified. I think that's something people would care about, but I don't know the industry very well. Those are the sorts of things that you will know. Make sure you include them in your ad copy. Otherwise, keep it simple and let the offer do the talking. If you want the surest way to be absolutely confident that your Facebook ad campaigns are going to deliver great results, it's by including a great offer like a free 30-minute lesson, a free consultation, a free quote, a free survey. People love free. It gets them to take action, and you can progress them to customers once they've done so. Now, of course, with a product-based business, it's much more difficult to offer something for free. You could be looking at a discount. You could have a very inexpensive trial version of the product, something along those lines. Anyway, I'm going to move on. So that's the primary text, goes above the image. Then we want the headline. Just really describe whatever it is that you're offering. So I would go with free fishing lessons in X. So whatever X is, you want to include the local location in there. Okay, so that's our headline. Now we've got our primary text, we've got our image, and the headline will show up just beneath it. Just going to finish doing the rest of these now. Now, the newsfeed link description goes just beneath the headline, beneath the image. Completely optional. I would normally put in something that just reaffirms a call to action. So click here to book your free... I need to know how to spell free fishing lesson today. Something really simple like that. Then obviously we need a website link. So this needs to go to the landing page where people can inquire. They can book that free phishing lesson. If you've got something like this set up, then I would recommend, if this is the offer that you want, then I'd recommend you have a specific landing page that's all about these free phishing lessons. Landing page does not need to be complicated, but you want something that's specific to that, because otherwise it's not going to make sense when people click through. Display link, that's your website. If you've put your website in there, it'll do it automatically. But if you just wanted to put in, I don't know, phishing.com or whatever it happens to be, then that's going to show up underneath the image. I'll show you exactly what all this looks like in a second once it's been able to load. I'll get this done first. Right, then your call to action button. Do the one that sounds most like the thing you want people to do. So do you want them to learn more about this phishing lesson? Maybe. Do you want them to book now? I'd probably go with learn more, because people want a bit more information before they book a phishing lesson. But you could go with book now, or you could select sign up, because they're signing up for an offer. Just like if you're advertising a product, you want to go with shop now. The button used here is not massively important. As I said, just treat it like a menu at a restaurant. Just use the one that best describes the action you want people to take. Do you want them to get a quote? Do you want them to download? Do you want them to contact you? Go with that one. So I would go with probably something like sign up. Sign up for your free phishing lesson. Okay, don't worry about customizations and different languages and all that sort of stuff. Far too complicated when you're a Facebook advertising beginner, you're just getting started. If you've got the Facebook Pixel all set up, this will automatically be added into information down here. You should have the Facebook Pixel set up. If you haven't, as I said, check out the video description, there's a link in there. And just make sure when you come down, you've got a little green circle next to your Facebook Pixel, and it's all set to track these conversions, because the campaign will not perform without that. Okay, so we've added in all the elements we need to. Oh, I need a link in here, otherwise it's going to get angry with me. So I'll just put in the link to my own website. And yeah, so let's have a look now. I've added in all the elements of what the ad actually looks like. So it looks like, for some reason, yeah, the preview is not working properly. So what I'm going to go do is click confirm. Let's go ahead and effectively make this ad live. It'll go into the review process. Facebook ads do not go live immediately. Facebook needs to review them. Usually takes around half an hour or so, and then provided they pass Facebook's advertiser policies, they will be approved. So what I'm going to do now is just go into this so that we can take a proper look at it. So I've just navigated to the ad itself, clicked on preview, and we can see everything. So here we go. So we've got the free phishing lessons right up top. We've got the text. I already covered that to some extent. We've got a fairly simple image. Guys look like they're having fun fishing. That's your display URL that shows right there. I just put in my own website because that's the link that I use. Obviously, that would be the link that you would use for your company. Free phishing lessons in X, that's your headline. And then your newsfeed link description is in here. Click here to book your free phishing lesson, and then you've got the sign up button. So that is exactly how it would appear on the mobile newsfeed within someone's Facebook ad account. If you wanted to have a look at what it appears, let's say in Instagram, on the feed, it would look like this. So obviously there's a lot that you can't change. Facebook sort of changes the format for you. So obviously the primary text is not above the image on Instagram, it's below it, and all that sort of stuff. But that is the process. And then of course this campaign is now ready to go live as soon as it's been approved. That is the process of creating a Facebook ad campaign. That's how you advertise on Facebook in 2019 and how you get results. You use the conversion objective, you set some fairly straightforward targeting options, and you create an ad with a killer offer, and that's how you get started. Now, of course, once it's shown to work or once you start to see some results, you can then go in and use some more complex features. You can create things like Facebook lookalike audiences. You can retarget custom audiences. You could use different ad creative options, slideshows, carousels, create video content, become a bit more creative with your copy. There are infinite possibilities with Facebook advertising once you've gotten started, but this video is all for Facebook advertising beginners. It was all about getting started, and this is the simplest way that you can do it. Make sure you check out the links in the video description for things like the Facebook Pixel, the lead generation campaign you might want to test instead, or alongside a campaign like this, all that sort of stuff. Before you go, there's something I just want to quickly mention, which is my 5-part Facebook ad template that you can download right now for free. So this Facebook ad template includes some of the best performing ads that we've created for a number of our clients in a number of different industries. You can model from those ads. It can really help you improve the performance of your Facebook ads. So if you got to this ad stage and you saw me do this and you thought, yeah, but how do I do it for my business? What sort of images do I use? What sort of copy do I use? Why does this work and this doesn't work? It's all in the Facebook ad template. Go ahead and download it. It's completely free. All you got to do, again, is click on the link in the video description. There'll be another one down there, and that'll take you through to my website, and you will be able to download it there. If you like this video, if you found it useful, please like and leave a comment below to let me know. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Facebook advertising related content. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.